gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head down, find what you love and excel, yeah.
This is the Redmi K100 Pro Max in the 16GB RAM and 512GB storage configuration, priced at 5,199 RMB, which works out to roughly £570 in the UK and $774 in the USA. Then we have the Redmi K90 Pro Max, also with 16GB of RAM and 512GB of storage, but priced at just 3,499 RMB, so it's fair to say that anyone who waited for the newer model has been hit pretty hard. Redmi has always been closely associated with great value for money, but as memory prices continue to rise, smartphone prices have been climbing as well. Even with the K100 series, Redmi seems to be dealing with those higher memory costs by introducing newer models without delivering a meaningful hardware upgrade. And if you're waiting for the newest chip, there's a good chance the price will climb even higher. Redmi has definitely played an interesting game this time. So, why do I feel that the K100 is somewhat of a gimmick? Well, once you see how it compares with its predecessor, the K90 Pro Max, the reason becomes pretty obvious. Welcome back.
A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out our exciting tech content.
For this review, I went with the red version, officially known as Cabernet Sauvignon Red. In reality, though, it looks much closer to a deep wine red. The rear panel is made from fiberglass, and unfortunately, the material feels fairly plastic-like in the hand. At this price, I have to say that not getting a glass back is a little disappointing. When you put the K100 next to the K90, the overall design is actually very similar. Their dimensions are almost exactly the same. The main visual difference is that Redmi has relocated the flash to the lower right side of the camera module. The Boss base unit has also been changed, and this time there are two additional LED lights that can react and move along with the music. It's a nice little feature, although I wouldn't call it a game changer. The larger curve where the back panel meets the frame makes the phone more comfortable to hold compared with the previous generation. The weight, however, has gone up by 23 grams. That's understandable considering the battery capacity has increased by a massive 1,500 mAh compared with the previous model. Moving around to the front, the display has received a small upgrade. It now uses the newer M11 sensor, while the maximum refresh rate has been pushed all the way to 185 Hz. But there's an important catch. In normal everyday use, the display runs at 120 Hz globally, while only certain games are capable of reaching 185 Hz. And when you look at the supported game list, only CF and Rhythm Master actually show a noticeable improvement from that ultra-high refresh rate. Whether the other games support 185 Hz or not is basically irrelevant. Screen brightness has also increased by 20%, which makes the phone more comfortable to use outdoors. The viewing angles are good, and color accuracy has improved as well. This is especially noticeable because the previous generation had a fairly obvious green tint. Unfortunately, the bezels remain wider than I would like. At this price level, it's fair to ask why other manufacturers can achieve extremely slim bezels while Redmi still can't. And to make matters worse, the bezels aren't perfectly symmetrical either. The chin and the corners around the earpiece are slightly thicker than the other three sides. As for performance, both phones use the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, so there isn't really any meaningful difference in raw performance between them. After using the K100 as my main phone though, the biggest improvement I noticed was definitely battery life. The huge 9,070 mAh battery makes a major difference. With lighter usage, you can comfortably get through 2 days on a single charge. Even with heavier usage, the phone can usually keep going until around 9 or 10 in the evening. For a day of use, that is more than enough. In fact, compared with the previous generation, this is really the only major improvement I've noticed during my time with the phone. Now let's move on to the speakers, because I know this is something many of you are interested in. On the K100 Pro Max, both the top and bottom speakers have been upgraded from the 1115F units to 1115D units. However, the specifications of the rear bass unit remain the unchanged. In terms of actual listening, though, I feel that the bass doesn't go quite as deep as it did on the previous generation. The high frequencies are slightly improved, but overall, the difference between the two phones isn't particularly large.
Another major point that has caused some debate is the HyperOS 4 update schedule. The K100 Pro Max was only released a few days ago, yet it has already been placed in the third batch for the update. Honestly, I've never seen something like this in the tech industry before, but Redmi has managed to do it. As for HyperOS 3, I stayed away from using Xiaomi phones as my primary device for quite a long time because of the lag problems I experienced with earlier versions of HyperOS. But after using it extensively for several days, I have to say that things have improved. Frame drops are much less noticeable, and the overall system feels more stable. Now, let's move on to the cameras. Both phones use exactly the same hardware for their 5x periscope telephoto camera, specifically the JN5 sensor. So any difference you see in 5x telephoto image quality comes entirely from the software processing and algorithms. The main cameras, however, are different. The K90 Pro Max uses the Lighthunter 950 sensor, while the K100 Pro Max comes with the HP5 sensor. These two sensors have some inherent hardware differences, and those differences become much easier to notice when shooting in extremely low light conditions. Let's start with daytime photography in natural light. When there's plenty of light, the difference in sensor size between the two main cameras isn't particularly important. Both cameras deliver a similar level of resolution. Where you really notice the difference is in the way Xiaomi has tuned the images. The K90 Pro Max produces stronger contrast, deeper shadows, more saturated colors, and an overall more atmospheric look. The K100 Pro Max takes a more conservative approach, especially when dealing with side lighting. It preserves more information in the darker areas, its white balance is more neutral, and the overall color presentation looks cleaner and clearer. Personally, I still prefer the image style of the K90 Pro Max slightly more. Now, let's move into nighttime photography, where things get more interesting. We can basically divide the results into two different environments. The first is extremely low-light photography. This is where the hardware differences between the two phones become much more obvious. At the same shutter speed, the larger main camera sensor on the K90 Pro Max allows it to shoot at a lower ISO. That means less noise and noticeably cleaner shadows. The K100 Pro Max, by comparison, shows a stronger smearing effect in these extremely dark environments. The second situation is a moderately bright nighttime scene, such as streets illuminated by streetlights, shops, and other surrounding lighting. When there's enough ambient light available, the ISO requirements become lower, so the difference in image cleanliness between the two cameras becomes much smaller. The two phones also approach exposure differently. The K90 Pro Max is more focused on capturing moving subjects. It tends to prioritize faster automatic shutter speeds, which makes it easier to capture pedestrians, vehicles, and other things that are constantly moving. The K100 Pro Max takes a different approach. It is less likely to produce blurry images from camera shake because it tends to favor longer exposures while keeping the ISO lower. This works particularly well when photographing modern cityscapes, buildings, and illuminated signs, where the cleaner image can be more important than freezing movement. However, when a moving subject enters the frame, that longer exposure can make motion blur more noticeable. Now, let's take a closer look at the 5x telephoto camera. During the daytime, the two phones deliver similar resolution, and there isn't much difference in center frame detail. You can see some small variations in sharpness, color reproduction, and overall image style, but nothing particularly dramatic. At night, though, the differences become much easier to see.
With the same shutter speed, the K100 Pro Max does a better job with highlight control and nighttime noise reduction. It is less likely to overexpose bright lights or turn illuminated signs into large areas of white. Its handling of noise in the shadows is also more refined. At the same time, the K100 Pro Max uses stronger contrast and sharpening, giving its images a more dramatic and visually striking appearance. But there is a trade-off. Highlights can be blown out more easily, and after aggressive noise reduction, some of the finer textures can also become smoothed over. So, what's the final verdict? Considering the current increase in memory prices, the K100 Pro Max can still be a reasonable choice if you urgently need a new phone or you're already using a Xiaomi device and are looking for an upgrade. But if you're an existing user with a chipset in the 800 million range or higher, especially if you already own the K90 Pro Max, I wouldn't recommend making the switch. The fact that system updates are prioritized after the K90 can actually be seen as Redmi giving some protection to existing users. And now, let's see who still has the courage to claim that an older flagship is worse than a dog. That's going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and become part of our tech team. We'll be bringing you more exciting gadget reviews and the latest technology. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!